good, family? It's your boy Greg from Aminorinhoops podcast, and welcome to 1v1, where I sit down with an influential basketball leader in the community and chop it up with them, pick their brain, and also give y'all some information and insight on how they made it through their basketball journey and how they're doing today. And today we have a great guest with us, inaugural guest with us, Coach Dale Harris, collegiate coach as well as executive director of Team Richmond.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity and excited to be here and excited about your inaugural broadcast.
Thank you, man.
Let's get it.
Let's get it.
Yeah.
We're here, downtown Richmond, Church Hill, Salvation Army Boys and Girls Club. When you called me and you told me you wanted to do it here, I was curious because I didn't know. I didn't know you were doing anything special here.
Sure.
But I'm curious for you to tell us why you picked this place.
Well, right now with everything going on in the world, the community is important. And our community here, our inner city community, people of color, this is selfless work, and this is something, a part of 4 different organizations, which I'll get into later, but we've been doing this on Friday nights, 804 Coaches for Change, and where we've been, we've came together, and we have been feeding the kids. We have a DJ, and basketball has given us the platform to influence influence young people in a positive way.
Right.
And so when you came to me about doing this interview, this is where we are on Friday nights. So I'm coming from Collegiate. I wear a lot of different hats.
Right.
But this is again, I'm a very authentic and real and what you see, what you get person. And so when we finish this, going right into the community night with the kids, also being a role model, being an example. So the kids of, hey, well, Coach Harris, why are you interviewing? What was that interview about?
Right.
Maybe that's something I'm interested in, or what you do, or the camera guy, and all that kind of stuff. So again, I'm giving you a lot there, but community, role model, and where we are in this world, I just felt I wanted, this is something that's going to take off.
Right.
And so let's do it right here in the inner city of Richmond, around young people, and giving back and hopefully give a positive message.
I appreciate it. Once again, like I said, we appreciate the invitation. We got Keith behind the camera, y'all, so y'all know. But I appreciate the invitation, and I appreciate you sitting down with us, looking at this space, and like you said, mentioning the fact that this is an opportunity to expose, these youth to a different element of the game, a different side of the game. Is that something you had growing up? How did you look at the game? Was it all basketball, or did you see the other avenues that this game could take you?
Wow, that's a loaded question. No, that's a loaded one. That's a good one. I'm just like every other kid. I'm 42 years old now, and I wanted to go to the NBA. I wanted to go to the NFL. And just like every kid now, all you think is Division I. So my life journey has been able to help me be the man and become the man that I am now and still striving to be.
Right.
And so I've been very fortunate to grow up around a family of people who've been in athletics and education. I was a ball boy for VCU. My dad was the academic advisor for the men's basketball team. So I grew up around, wiping the sweat, the ball boy. I did that with pride. Right. But I was able to be in the locker room and go on the road trip, so was able to be experienced around basketball at a young age. And then before that, my dad was a recruiter at Shaw University, a historical black college in the CIAA, and I was born in Raleigh, North Carolina. So just being exposed to it, when you're exposed to it, you see that like that's something that you want to do, whether it's playing in college or whatever. But it never was. I didn't want to be a recruiter. I didn't want to be a trainer. I didn't want to be a coach.
You want to be on the floor.
You want to be on the floor.
You want to be on the floor.
So that's some of it. And then as well, my mother worked at Virginia State University, where she was assistant to the provost. So I've just been around education and been around sports. And then my stepdad is a former president at Savannah State for 5 years, historical black college. So my family is very close, and my stepmother is a doctor, is a professor, graduated from Virginia.
Education is in the blood.
So, yeah, education and sports is in the blood, from parents to step parents, and it's all love. So that helped embrace me. But always, again, the reason I'm saying those different type of careers involved in sports and education, I wanted to get on the court. I wanted to.
Right.
Yes. So that's just kind of, again, every kid's dream. But everything that I do now is helping young people relate that there's so much more out there. There's so much more where you can influence and enjoy things through sports without being the #1 pick in the NBA draft or the NFL draft.
Right. We were talking before we cut the cameras on. I was mentioning to you that I played Division III. I only played for 3 years. My senior year, I stopped playing because one, I had 2 concussions, and the second, I was like, man, I haven't been able to get on the court. My career kind of struggled when I got off to college, partially to a lot of different reasons. And then I looked at, like you said, this avenue of like, I love talking the game. I love communicating. I know the game well. It wasn't like I'm an idiot. I can't be on the team and be dumb.
Right.
So it's just a matter of finding new ways and finding different ways to stay connected to something you love so dearly. And like I grew up wanting to be 6'6", wear number 23, Chicago.
From North Carolina.
My dad was born in Fayetteville.
Okay. J. Cole.
Yep. So right there, so I was like, man, everything seemed like, man, that's where I was aligned to. And then when it didn't pan that way, I wasn't nervous. It was like, all right, what can we do now?
Sure.
And so the fact that we're here and we're at the Salvation Army Boys and Girls Club, Churchill, Richmond, and they get to be exposed to this, I think is a blessing, and I appreciate being a part of that blessing.
Well, thank you.
Let's talk about your journey. Shift gears, talk about your journey. You said being on the court was the #1 goal. Can you talk about that? Can you talk about how you shifted throughout and how we got to this place?
Yeah. Man, I'm gonna try to fast pace this so it's not long. I don't like talking about myself so much, and my players always laugh and joke. I always try to say I'm gonna keep it short and sweet, and they know it's long. Like, coach, cut, time out. But let me start with where I am now, and then I'll backtrack. So, 4 different things I'm involved in, and it's all selfless work. When you're doing something that you love and it's your purpose, it's just easy. And so I'm the head varsity boys basketball coach at Collegiate School, going into my 5th year, and a varsity boys basketball coach and program leader. And I'm a full-time teacher there, so full-time teacher, and I teach PE. And then the basketball side, so varsity boys basketball coach and program leader. So there's 2 JV teams at Collegiate. I oversee that, and then we have 6 middle school teams. And then we have 5th and 6th grade, we call them Cougar Paws, and that's a whole league that we have within the school at Collegiate. So I oversee all that basketball program along with trying to staff the coaches. So that's one side there. And we've been pretty successful on the varsity level. And then over here, I'm the executive director of Team Richmond basketball. When I go back and talk about my journey at AAU, you'll see where that connects. But with Team Richmond, we have 14 different teams, 14 different high school coaches. I've been blessed to be in it for 2 stints, and probably helped over 100 kids go to college, whether it's Division I, Division II, Division III, like yourself. So Collegiate here, Team Richmond here, and everything is separate. Right. A lot of people, like to overlap AAU and high school. That they're separate.
Right.
So 2 separate entities, but basketball and young people is still here in the middle. And over here, I have the Dale Harris Basketball Academy, where I have a mentoring program in Chesterfield County. I do camps. I do clinics. I speak at the Richmond Juvenile Detention. I speak at churches. I spoke at graduations, and I don't call it motivational speaking. I'm really big with seeking mentors. Young people need to seek mentors. Again, being here tonight, I hope I can be a mentor. And mentors, you got to go seek those guys out. They just don't come and say, "Hey, Dale, I want to help you."
Right.
But Dale Harris Basketball Academy, again, with speaking engagements and the program and all that, and that's over here. Then over here, I'm blessed to be for where we are here tonight with the 804 Coaches for Change. I'm on the board. And Coach Darrell Watts, a great friend of mine, awesome coach, head coach at Armstrong, was his dream and his vision. and been able to help support him. A bunch of area coaches coming together during the George Floyd deaths, the Ahmaud Arbery deaths. We were able to have a peaceful protest at the Arthur Ashe statue, where we pulled all kinds of coaches together, and we had Mike Rose, VCU head coach. We had Jason Williford, associate head coach, University of Virginia. Griff Allward's head coach at Longwood. Hampton Sydney head coach. Randolph Macon, you name it, could keep going.
Yeah.
The lieutenant governor. But that was all support. And one thing we wanted to do with 804 Coaches for Change is to be about action. You know, there's a lot of things going on since the Black Lives Matter movement and all that kind of stuff. But people aren't about action. Exactly. You know, we just didn't want to be something on social media and all that. So hence, you know, we've been here on Friday nights doing this. So 4 different things: 804 Coaches for Change here, Collegiate here, Team Richmond, Dale Harris Basketball Academy, and it's all young people. So that's where I'm at now. And my journey, again, as I told you, a little brief history on, you know, being around education and sports through my parents. But I was fortunate to play AAU at a high level. At 12 years old, I was an AAU All-American. I tell people all the time that that's a terrible award. It's a horrible award. And it really is, because at the middle school level, they give these awards and people think they're good, right? Yeah. You know, and so, you know, from my era, you know, we're talking about Jermaine O'Neal. You know, we're talking about Kevin Garnett. You know, I graduated in '96. So, like, we're talking about legit dudes, right? You know, but All-American at 12 years old, came back, thought I was really, really good, and learned from that journey and didn't push myself. That's one thing, too. These middle school kids, high school kids come back and you think you're the best thing in your area, you know, but there's always somebody getting better. So the journey through there of AAU, so know the AAU game in and out, inside and out. And then from there, I was fortunate to go to Monacan High School. Was at Monacan High School where freshman, sophomore, I was on varsity, played a lot, was all district as a junior. And again, listening, you know, I'm big with quotes and big with, my mentor sends me a lot of motivational, inspirational quotes. And one thing is, you know, life's about choices and voices. And at the time, you know, my family and athletics and all that, I thought I was better than I was. And so it was a lot of people in life are always, it's your environment. You know, it wasn't in my environment, it was me. I wasn't working as hard as I should be. So anyway, I leave Monacan and I go to Fork Union Military Academy. I go to Fork Union Military Academy, shout out against my players. I say this all the time. I was all-state and all-region. And so I tell my players that in practice, if there's anybody else that's all-state and all-region in this gym, you can say something. But until you're all-state and all-region, I don't want to hear you say anything. But I went to Fork Union, still played AAU at Richmond Metro, and some of my best friends were still at Monacan. And in Monacan that junior year, we were successful. Then my senior year, of course, I'm at Fork Union. And then the senior year, the Monacan team, they were good in the region. We were good at Fork Union, but I was the missing piece. Yeah. And again, because I wanted to change sceneries, thinking it was, and I love Fork Union, lifelong friends, but again, it's about those choices and voices. And I remember my high school coach, he told me, again, another quote, which I try to live by, is he says, the best quote I can give you, Harris, compliment I can give you in life, Harris, is that you're an everyday man. And so, you know, here's a coach I left at Monacan, but still was giving me that knowledge. You know, so again, mentors, and again, where I am today, coaching is so much more than that. But fast forward a little bit, high school, man, again, why I've probably been blessed to help over 100 to 150 kids in college, you know, and I don't claim any of these guys. You know, that's a problem with AAU and the high school culture. Like,
which was a question I had, because I was definitely curious as to, you mentioned something that I thought was really key. You said you don't overlap them. How do you go about not overlapping them when you're wearing so many hats? Well, you're probably running into some of these kids 2-3 times in 3 arenas.
Yes.
How do you go about not overlapping it and kind of keeping your lane depending on where you're at, what hat you're wearing?
Well, again, I hope, as cliche as it sounds, I want to be judged by the content of my character, and my character is high. And so meaning, you know, when I got hired at Collegiate, you know, I know one concern and one big thing, you know, I know the head of school when he hired me, and I wanted to be at a place where the character and community and values all matched up. And so, for example, so me being an AAU coach, where AAU gets a bad name, some people take high school jobs so that can help with the AAU. or
Right.
vice versa. AAU can help with high school. Like, no. They're separate, you know? And so, and then the respected name I have in the community, you know, guys like Coach Watts, all these people in the 804 Coaches for Change,
Yeah.
they know that Coach Harris is at a school of Collegiate where I'm not trying to steal your players.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like, you know, and one, you can't get in Collegiate anyway unless you have the academics and
Yeah.
finances and all that. Things have to align. So again, I'm able to separate that. And again, my players, I talk to them like, hey, if you want to go play AAU for another organization, you need to do that, and that's best for you.
Right.
I'm not going to treat you any different. But I will tell you, if you go to that AAU organization, they better coach you, and you better get better.
Right.
Because if you don't get coached and you don't get better, right,
You'll
then it's
come
gonna be a
back
problem.
here.
There you go.
Now you got to deal with me.
That's it. That's it. You know, but again, I think people really struggle with separating the two. And then again, for me, is basketball always comes back to basketball and young people. So I'm not going to treat anybody different from my AAU program than I'm treating anybody from my college program. Excuse me, from my collegiate program. Same thing with the basketball academy. And I probably didn't throw in, it's really 5 things. I'm involved with USA Basketball. So very blessed to be a part of that as well. Was the first inaugural, since we're on the inaugural show here, first inaugural Gold Camp. We held that at Collegiate 2 years ago, which the Gold Camp is the top middle schoolers in the country. So was able to do that and bring that to Collegiate, be one of the lead coaches for that, which was awesome. And I'm real big too with kids, you know, volunteering.
Yeah.
I still volunteer a lot now. You know, I'm the executive director for Team Richmond, and I volunteer. You know, I'm not getting a salary. It's not about a salary. It's giving back to the community and helping many young people as we can, and give AAU a good name.
Right.
And so also at USA Basketball, I volunteered a lot doing regional camps. And so from volunteering with the regional fundamental camps, was able to get recognized as knowing the game a little bit,
Right.
and doing a good job. And then from there, real blessed, very fortunate, the only coach from this area to be a U16 national team coach at the training camp. So I was able to go down to Florida for a week and work with some of the top players in the country, the top 32. We cut it down to 16, and actually was looking at the ESPN rankings yesterday that came out. Coach Paul Biancardi, another mentor guy, I work his camps and try to learn from. He ranks the ESPN top 100. But I looked at that ranking that he put out, and you know, I've been blessed to work with 7 of those kids.
Awesome.
But I don't claim them. You know what I mean? That's where the
Exactly.
crossover. Like it's not about me. It was just I had an opportunity to be blessed to work with them, to help them. And
Right. So
I didn't even finish the rest of the journey, but
You can-
but
no,
you
no,
go. I'm talking too much.
No,
Yeah,
you could. You could.
yeah.
If you want to give us, if you want to keep going, you can.
I'm gonna finish it here. So I gave you high school career and all that, and I think it says a lot. And then collegiately, so college, and it says a lot about my journey now. So I did not concentrate on my grades in high school. I did much better at Fork Union, but I went to a junior college. I went to a junior college in Columbia, Maryland, called Howard Community College for a year. Played there, had a great freshman year, and then I went to Tennessee Chattanooga down south in the Southern Conference. I went there as a walk-on, recruited walk-on. At the time, there was a connection with my dad and the coach, which was great. And I loved the school, it was great, everything was going well. And then the coach who recruited me as a walk-on left and came back to VCU. Comes back to VCU, and I'm still there. And the head coach at the time, him and his son and I play the same position. And he took his son as a walk-on. So I get it. I would have did the same thing for my son.
Yeah.
But at 19, 20 years old, I'm very upset.
Exactly.
And then fast forward here, so Tennessee Chattanooga, then I came back to Virginia State. And I graduated from Virginia State. I won't get into that whole long story because I want to just proceed a little bit more and hear questions you have. But graduated from Virginia State, gave up basketball, and then one of my AAU teammates gave me a shout out and said, hey man, I got a rec ball team here, would you like to come coach? And that's kind of how coaching got started. And back to AAU, told you it was AAU All-American. I've played an AAU National Championship game. I've played at Wake Forest, I played at Duke, I played at Maryland, played at Carolina, I played at every ACC floor through AAU except for Florida State and Clemson. And then fast forwarding to that rec ball, Then I was fortunate enough to get with 2001 with Team Richmond. At the time, Kevin Eastman, who of course was the NBA coach for the Boston Celtics and former coach UNC Wilmington, all that. And then Carl Lieber, who played at Navy with David Robinson, they ran Team Richmond.
Okay.
So Team Richmond in 2001 was introduced to that. Was able to coach a 17 team, do a pretty good job for 4 years. One of the best players I've ever coached, and have a relationship with him now. And I run his camps in the summer. Tyrese Rice, who's been Euro Cup, EuroLeague MVP.
I was a huge fan of as a kid.
Yeah,
huge fan of.
He's the
I
best.
wanted to go to Boston College for what Choice did because of him.
Yeah, he's the best that I've ever coached, and is still as humble, and same guy, man, which is great. But then that's where started with coaching with gosh, where was I? I'm talking about
Team Richmond.
Team Richmond, yeah, with Team Richmond, and then with Team Richmond just did a very good job. And my mentor now, which we once a week are in contact, Jerry Wainwright, was the head coach at University of Richmond. I wrote him a personal letter, which kids don't do anymore. I wrote a personal letter about my dreams of being a head college coach and all that stuff and my passion. And he hired me. He said, I don't need to tell you how to coach, but I want to show you everything else in the business and everything else that goes along with collegiate athletics. So I got a crash course in that. I tell young people that all the time, again, just trying to give back. If you can coach, you can coach. Doesn't matter if it's middle school, AAU, whatever.
Right.
And so I went from Richmond to Coach Wainwright left and went to DePaul. And then I was offered a job at Longwood, was offered a job at VMI, was in the finals at William & Mary, and I took a job at VMI. Ironically enough, I was recruited by VMI at Fork Union. I thought I was too good for that. So all these nuggets I'm giving is why I can help people now. Like, just go where you want it, go where you can play. Right. And so I was at VMI, where I coached another one of the best players from this area, Reggie Williams. Very close with Reggie now. And so the two best left-handers, Reggie Williams and Tyrese Rice, shot out. And from VMI, I went to Morgan State. Was an assistant coach there for Todd Bozeman, his first job back. He coached Jason Kidd, Lamont Murray, all those. Sharif Abdul-Rahim, learned a lot. It was my first time at a historical black college, so that was completely different from Baltimore, Lexington, Virginia, Richmond, Virginia, AAU, and then I took a year off. I was at Dunbar High School. That's where Keith Booth went, Muggsy Bogues, Tavon Austin. He was running around the halls. Taught him in PE. Used to hoop with him in PE. Saw him running around before he went to West Virginia. And then out of nowhere, again, you never know who's watching you. As I said earlier, your character. Dr. Sharon Beverly, I coached her son at VMI. I did not know she was watching. I did a pretty good job with that as assistant, of how you treat people, was polished and kind of did things the right way. And she was the athletic director at Vassar College in Poughkeepsie, New York, and she hired me as the basketball coach. So I got my first college coaching job at 30. I didn't know how to tie my tennis shoe. I didn't know what I was doing, and I learned 5 years on the job, and it was a blessed experience, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. And so that's kind of the journey. And was with Team Richmond before the college experience, 8 years of college, and then I came back here to Richmond. 2013, 14, and out of nowhere, a great friend of mine, Alex Peavy, was assistant at Wofford when I was coaching back at Team Richmond, and he said, "Hey man, there's a job open at a school called Collegiate. Would you be interested?" And out of nowhere, it just all the dots, stars aligned, and now I'm going into my 5th season. So I know that was kind of long-winded, but I just wanted to connect it all, and that's me. Yeah.
I mean, as long-winded as it was, I think it's necessary, because I think, like I mentioned before, this is about giving education, about giving an understanding of what a journey looks like. There's twists, there's turns, there's pauses. So you took a year off. There's pauses in your journey, and so the realism is there. The fact that you had to go through those different avenues to get back here, and to in every space, like you mentioned, high character, high consistency, in terms of you as a person, and then coming back here and then elevating. What I like to think you elevated this space, Richmond hoops, in some way, shape, or form. when I mentioned your name that I was going to do in this interview to some other people, it was like, really? So, and I'm not just trying to, pat you on the back or anything, like a brown nose. I'm not trying to do that at all. But they were like, really? I was like, yeah, that's a big time interview. And I was like, I'm learning as I go along just how impactful you are to the culture of Richmond hoops and this area. So I don't want anyone to get that misconstrued that, oh, he just went all the way around.
Oh yeah.
On this long talk of this school he coached, that. Yeah. This was necessary. Yes. And in order for you to be who you are. Shifting gears.
Sure.
Looking at the basketball landscape now and understanding that COVID exists. Mm-hmm. We are maintaining our 6 feet. Keith made sure of it.
Yes.
But looking at the basketball landscape now, how are you going about the process of giving these kids an opportunity? Because their dreams are still their dreams. Mm-hmm. And I think all kids want a fair shake at reaching their dreams. Mm-hmm. How you go about giving them an opportunity to get to that next level, whether it's D3, D2, or D1?
Sure. Well, it kind of ties in. Reason I wore this shirt, is our motto. Our program motto is "Culture wins." Mm-hmm. And culture is so many things. And so, but really concentrating on your culture, you have to get better.
Right.
You have to get better. You have to control what you can control. And right now, we can't control COVID, the pandemic. There's so much going on in the world. Racial tension.
Right.
You name it. I mean, it's going on in 2020. And just because the date turns to 2021 here
doesn't mean it goes away.
It's not right. So, the big thing with everybody is get better. And again, how are you getting better? And I always tell my players, going into the end of the season or going into the next time a coach sees you, he has to see a different person. They can't see the same person. So every kid I talk to, and especially that's what we're harping on right now in my program at Collegiate, and it's nothing different than when I tell the other kids, whether it's doesn't matter, I don't care if it's a Henrico kid or Richmond kid, it doesn't matter who it is, it's the same message, and again, it's getting better. So if you couldn't go left last year,
make sure you go left now.
You can't spend another, right. If you can't shoot now, again, Giannis, get better. Russ, Westbrook, get better. Yeah. Make shots, because the proof is in the pudding. When you put the time in, the result is going to come. So that's really where I'm at. And why can't your basketball IQ get better? Why are you not watching and studying basketball? Why didn't you break down the bubble? Why are you not watching these college games? So that's just where I'm at with it, with my program and in the community of getting better. And then, the challenges. Mm-hmm. So let me just say that basketball is in a very bad place. It's in a very bad place. And so
can you dig deeper into
I'm gonna dig deeper. So I'm gonna go, and we created the monster. So I'm gonna go youth development to college basketball. So youth development, as far as we don't teach the game. We don't teach the game. We got, and again, I tell parents, be easy on these coaches, because they're probably volunteering their time.
Right.
And they went to no coaching clinic.
Yeah.
They don't ask anybody for help. Right? Because you played the game doesn't mean you understand the game.
Facts.
Right? They don't do homework, don't do coaching clinics, don't watch basketball. They're watching basketball to talk in the barbershop and wear Tracy McGrady's jersey and right. Or I'm a parent living vicariously through my kid. And I'm like, okay, so basketball's in a bad place because we are not teaching the game of fundamentals. And, I'm a big Kobe Bryant fan, and Kobe said this a long time ago, Europe was way ahead of us. The European game's way ahead of us. They know how to play. The ball moves and all that. Right. And now if you look in basketball, we run it. Gonzaga runs it. VCU runs some set. Every college team runs some set of a continuity high ball screen offense.
Right.
The Lakers ran it the other night.
Yeah.
They got it from Europe. The ball just moves. Blah, 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 blah. Golden State won because the ball just moves. Yeah. It's not, it's not any...
It's not sticking in one hand.
It's not sticking. Like Jordan, he had to start passing to Paxson. He had to pass to BJ. The days of LeBron. That's why he wants shooters all around him. The ball has to move, and you have to know how to play. And, of course, they're gifted on the top level. But youth basketball, kids can't make right and left-hand layups. And we will let them go a whole season and not teach them. They can't dribble with their right and left head up. They can't dribble with their head up. They know nothing about on-the-ball defense. God forbid you tell them something about off-the-ball defense.
Right.
Rotations. They don't know the difference of do I deny or I'm in help.
Right.
That's not the same thing, coach? No. So they know nothing off the ball.
Yeah.
There's great skill development guys, wonderful skill development guys, right? I do some skill development myself. Yeah, but what is your skill? And again, this is me being real and authentic, right?
Right.
What is your skill trainer's background? Who has he helped? Get him to give you a plan.
Yeah.
Is he going to watch you play to break down? Is he evaluating you, or is he just giving you a drill? I see so many kids. Again, that's why basketball's in a bad place. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, parents are spending money with the skill development trainer, and it's one-on-one with the cone.
Right.
Well, there's 4 other guys on the court, but you're in love with the cone. So this is where it's tough, and I think we just have to get. It's one thing that USA Basketball does a good job with the youth development of we've got to teach and we got to expand of learning the fundamentals of the game with 5 players on there.
Yeah. With
5 players on the court, and then as you go to the higher level, with the pandemic. So now the NCAA and stuff, they're going to give kids another year.
Yeah.
So they're going to give kids another year, and then you have AAU coaches sending kids. It's AAU coaches and high school coaches' fault. It's AAU coaches, high school coaches, and college coaches. And so meaning the AAU coach is trying to get the kid to the highest level because of his program and his ego. Right?
Exactly.
The high school coach is trying to do the same, and now they're battling with relationships, AAU high school coach, right? Then the college coach is trying to get the highest rated player, and he hadn't evaluated the kid's game. You're just taking him because he's top 100 in the country, or because this AAU coach said, and this kid can't dribble. And this kid can't shoot.
And that's another thing. He's also misevaluated by the rankings because I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna mention money or whatever politics in terms of how
we're going to come back and get a whole segment on that,
exactly.
A whole breakdown on that, because I will go and I don't know it. I'm not Coach K. I'm not Shaka Smart. I'm just humble little dude. But
I understand. I mean, I get it. I've heard the stigma, or I guess the dilemma between the head coach, the high school coach, the college coach, and the AAU coach. And I've been in the middle and seen those. One coach say this about the high school coach, and the AAU says something about and they go back and forth vicariously through the kids.
Yes.
And so you're creating this disconnect, and the kid is like watching it all.
Yes.
And experiencing it all, and now he has to choose between, all right, which avenue is technically giving me the best opportunity.
Yes.
And so far it's been, at least in the past, I say the last 5, I've been out of school since 2018. So high school I played a little bit of AAU. So I say for the last 5-10 years, it's been AAU has been the fast track system in terms of the notoriety, the love, the rankings. They're paying more attention to that because the money's in that. The Peach Jams, the Adidas,
no question.
The Under Armour tourneys, all of those. You're looking at those situations. So I'm glad you mentioned that. I'm glad you mentioned that because that's a real thing. And so,
and I'll tell you, like I was at a high major practice, and the high major coach, he said, well, we got this great kid who's a top prospect, 6'9" from Atlanta, but now we got to teach him to play. So we recruited him. So part their fault because they got to take him, and this is a dangerous word, potential.
Right.
So I've got to take him because of the potential, but then I got to teach him how to play. But then I got the pressure of keeping my job.
Right.
So like I got to get in a fast track, and then the transfer rate, that's our fault. That's on high school coaches. It's on AAU coaches.
Yeah.
We're sending guys to the wrong level, to the wrong place, and then it's college coaches' fault. Because they're not evaluating. You're taking the highest ranked kid. You don't know where this kid's background is. You don't know where he came from. You don't know his journey. You just fast tracking him with Texas and all that stuff. So that's where basketball is in a bad place, but it can be better.
Right.
It can be better with more authentic, real people who care about developing young men and young women in life and teaching them the game. Their talent will show once they have the resources and the tools in the game.
Awesome. We're gonna have to do this again.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to do this again.
Nah. No, we gotta go. We gotta get to the court.
Yeah, I can't hold you too long. It's 6:15.
Yeah.
Like he mentioned before, we're here at the 804 Coaches
for Change,
and he has to get with the kids and teach them a few things on the court. So I don't want to hold you up, but I do appreciate you, sir. And we Coach.
Yeah, you're good. Yeah, don't serve me, Coach. Yeah, you're good.
And we're definitely going to have to do this again.
I got time. One more. Whatever you wanted to ask, you didn't ask. Go ahead.
For sure. One more question?
Yeah, one more question.
All right. You mentioned the guy. You mentioned Kobe. I tell everybody I start off hating Kobe, not because of his mentality, but because Brian Beach was a huge fan, and I was just being, what's the word I'm looking for? Opposite. I was just being antagonist. Yeah. So I decided to be an AI fan, but Kobe's mentality has always been growth and an idea for excellence, always seeking that next step. How are you going about that next step of excellence? What does that next step of excellence look like to you?
I listen to a lot of Kobe stuff every morning. I don't wake up every morning without listening to something inspirational. And that Mamba mentality, consistency. Yeah. And then I tell people this all the time. They're like, "Oh, you do so much and you're so successful." And like, no. It's not about me. So no. And I'm on the 50-yard line. Yeah. I'm trying to get into the red zone. Yeah. I'm trying to get to the 20. Too many people think they're on the 20-yard line. It's a 100-yard field. Right. I started here. And sometimes you're going to lose yards. Sometimes you're going to get a first down, gain back. That's what life's about. So keeping that mindset, and then but I'm striving to the red zone. And so many people get comfortable, and so that's where I'm at. I'm just not complacent. I'm not comfortable. It's a great quote that says, you want people succeed when they're authentic to their core. I'm authentic to my core. I'm the same person I am now, same person I'm at Collegiate or wherever, and I just think that's it. And it's just not enough people out here being selfless, and then really striving for greatness. And I'll leave it at this. I tell the kids this all the time. When I go speaking to juvenile detention, when I speak in my mentoring program, when I tell the kids this tonight, Eric Thomas, I think he said, what is a C? Oh, no, Eric Thomas said, what's your why? And right. They're giving away average for free, which is true. And Kobe was nothing about average. I don't even want to be around those people. I don't want to be around average people. And so what's your why and all that? And then what's a C? So I break it down to kids are later, what's a C? And a C stands for average. And I was like, you cannot get a C in anything you do. Right? Maybe you do because you don't understand something or figure it out, but you have to get a B and A. And then those C's, your commitment. Right. It can't be a C. Yeah. My character, right? So I could lose a bunch of games, right? But at Collegiate, at Team Richmond, wherever I'm at, my character is going to remain an A. Right. We're going to do it the right way at Team Richmond. We're going to do it the right way at Collegiate. Delhurst basketball. If USA basketball would not have me a part of them. If it's a gold standard, what they call it. Right. So again, that C cannot be average, and that's communication. Young people don't talk. All they want to do is text, tweet. One of my mentors said that, hey, you can't text or tweet your way through a screen. You can't. No. They're great on social media. They're great on all that, And so communication, character, consistency, complacency. Yeah. And I could just go on with the C, conditioning, right? And then confidence. So again, those C's cannot be average, and Kobe he dominated all that. Yeah. And so again, that stuff's important. And then I'll leave you this too. People are scared to go talk to people who are better than them. They're intimidated by it. Now that they've done it. Yeah. You know what I mean? You got a great thing going here. So find somebody who's better than you.
For sure.
Secret, I'm coming. And Kobe found Mike. Yeah. Yo, I'm coming. And he said, yo, young fella, you know what I mean? So that's what I'm about. And I know I gave you a lot, but I hope that.
Oh man, it was great. Like I said, I wish we could have been here longer, but I gotta let you go.
Okay.
I gotta let you go.
Yes,
but
thank you.
Please, if y'all enjoyed this, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Definitely hit the comment, hit the W's in the chat for Coach Dale Harris. It was an honor meeting him for the first time. This is the first time we actually got to meet.
Yes.
So it was an honor. And I can't wait for many other conversations we're gonna have. You're somebody I definitely want to learn more from. Definitely somebody I want to talk to more. So if you're willing to listen to a young boy,
oh man, anytime. Let's get it here. Let's get it.
I'll definitely do it.
Let's do it.
But like I said, we appreciate y'all, and as always, eat, sleep, breathe the game. We love you. Be safe, and we out.
Awesome. Thank you. Appreciate it. All right.